Hello, psychology students. This is Mr. Everton. I'm going to just go over the notes again from Friday. Many of you were not in class on Friday before when we found out about all of this craziness and school was canceled while you were doing your assignment. So for this first week, um, I'm going to just go over the notes from Friday in one video. And in the second video, I'll go over the assignment, which I actually already gave out in class on Friday. So if you've already done the defense mechanism illustration, then you're cool for this week. And I'll give you something new to do next week. If you weren't here on Friday, then this is your opportunity to get those notes and to do that assignment. So this is going to be all about Freud and personality, and we're going to talk about defense mechanisms. What is a defense mechanism, and how does it relate to these ideas of the id, the ego, and the superego? And you're going to have to illustrate those on a Google drawing and submit them. So Sigmund Freud is central to so much of psychology, and he had some ideas about where the personality came from. Much when we talk about Freud, a lot of times we refer to him under the heading psychoanalytic theory. Psychoanalysis, psychoanalytic theory, that always means Freud, and it boils down to the unconscious mind is affecting us, which we've talked about in this class before. The unconscious mind, according to Freud, contains hidden desires, things that we want. That might be like food. It might be like the desire to procreate and have relations. It might be fear. It might be just like general social needs, like we're all feeling now, like cooped up in our houses, wanting to talk to people. Those are all desires that are deep inside us, right? Like people are animals, and we have the same kinds of like animal instincts that like more primitive animals have. But we also live in a society, and society pressures us to follow certain rules so that society isn't chaotic. So, according to Freud, um, the issue comes that the personality is created, and I hope you can see what it says there. On my screen, it's partially blocked by a window, but I'm hoping you don't see it. The conflict between our unconscious desires and the social pressures that we feel to get along with other people, that conflict is resolved differently by different people. And the way that we all individually resolve that conflict, that's what creates our personality. So remember, Freud talked about this analogy of the um, iceberg, and that below the surface of the water is the unconscious mind, which we never see, we never think about, but it's there and it has a huge impact on us, right? And the conscious mind is part of the iceberg that's above the water, and we can see it, and we know that it's there. Um, so Freud labeled the mind with these three subcategories: ego, id, and superego. And they're all like three different little people inside our head who are always arguing with each other and trying to like figure things out together. So the id is like the Incredible Hulk. It's this like completely unthinking, incredibly powerful, just like wants what it wants, like Hulk smash, right? Like your id is part of your unconscious mind. You don't know that it's there. It's your animal impulses, it's your needs, your drives, your instincts, the things that you just want. You just look at that cookie and you're like, I'm gonna eat that cookie. Cookie Monster, another excellent example of id. Little kids, practically nothing but id. They just want the things that they want. They want the things that are going to give them pleasure and make them happy and make them feel good. And they don't want to wait. They don't understand why they should have to wait. They just want that thing now. Now, the opposite of that is the superego, and that's your sense of responsibility to other people. And you're taught this by your parents or whoever your caregivers are, right? Whoever raises you when you're a little kid, they teach you about the rules of society. Like, hey, imagine how other people are going to feel if you act like that. Would you want someone to do that to you, right? And so their job is to socialize you and get you to be aware of other people and like not just do anything you want. Um, this is fighting against socially undesirable impulses. Like little kids constantly need to be reminded like that what they do affects other people. And the superego, actually, once you've internalized it, once you've taken all those things your parents have told you, your superego, if it becomes really powerful, can make you feel really guilty and make you feel really lousy about yourself if it's unchecked. And that leads to our ego. And the ego is the part of your brain, the part of your mind, I should say, that Freud said is your rational mind, the part of your mind that is conscious, that you're aware of, that is in touch with reality. And your ego is responsible for balancing the needs of your id, which wants pleasure and the things that feel good that you just want and you don't know why you want them. You just got to have that thing. And your superego, which is like completely worried about how will people think of me? Am I going to be upsetting anybody when I do this? Am I a bad person? I can't be a bad person. So your ego is the part of your mind that has to like juggle all these balls and try to like figure this thing out. And they're all living in your head together, right? Your instincts, your sense of reality, and your sense of morality, they're all just like fighting amongst themselves inside your head. Now we're going to skip the 1970s video. Maybe I can post it on Canvas and you can see it. It's incredibly creepy and weird. If you were in class, you saw that for yourself. Highly recommend. Not going to play right now. So according to Freud, the way that your ego balances the needs of your id and your superego is through defense mechanisms. Your id and your superego make you feel bad, right? Like your id puts you in situations that aren't healthy and that make other people angry with you or that get you in trouble. And your superego makes you feel guilty. And the conflict between them is like, God, what are you going to do? So defense mechanisms are things that your mind comes up with to make you feel better and to deal with the conflict. And one of them is denial. Yeah. So I'm going to skip over this really quick. All right. Defense mechanisms. A brief list of some possible defense mechanisms. Pretend that you have received a test with a bad grade on it. So one defense mechanism, one way to make your ego could make you feel better is to just refuse to accept that it's reality. Like you see the grade in Power School and you're like, that grade's not right. A teacher put the grade in wrong. They hit the wrong button. There's no way I got a 30. They hit the wrong button. I actually have a 90. They meant to type 90. So that's denial, refusing to believe that it's a problem. Another way to make yourself feel better is to suppress all memory of the thing. Like you experience the negative thing and then you're like, I don't want to think about that. And you just like push it out of your head. Sublimation is when you channel forbidden desires into something more appropriate. So like maybe your teacher hands you the test and you get like really angry and you want to like cuss them out. You're like, stupid, and you like call them a bunch of names. But you know that that's not socially acceptable and that'll get you in trouble. So instead, you could sublimate all of those negative feelings and that anger into something more appropriate, like studying and getting a really good grade on the next test, which I would say is a fairly healthy defense mechanism. You take the inappropriate desire and you channel it into a more appropriate and healthy outcome. Slightly less evolved is rationalization, which most teenagers are very good at, and I'm good at too, which is where you explain the outcome away. You use logic to say like, oh, well, this is why it's not my fault, right? Not my fault. I got a bad grade on this test, but the teacher didn't teach it very well. And all other kids in class were like really loud and annoying and I couldn't focus. And also like I'm on the basketball team right now or the volleyball team, whatever team you want to be. And I was on, we had an away game and I didn't even get home until midnight last night. Not my fault. They should have let me take the test another time. That's rationalization, explaining away the problem. Some others, reaction formation. This is like being passive aggressive. Replace your true feeling with the opposite feeling. So the teacher gives you the test and you're really mad, but you give them a really big fake smile and you're like, thanks, Mr. Everton. So like you actually want to yell at me, but you're pretending you're using reaction formation. Projection is when you pretend that the impulses that are coming from inside you are actually coming from something else. So like you're angry with me because I gave you a bad grade on a test. Projection would be you take that anger and you're like, why is Mr. Everton so mad at me? Like, what did I do to deserve Mr. Everton being so angry with me? He's such an angry person. I don't understand why he's being like that. So projection is where you pretend the impulses are coming from another person or thing. And then there's displacement, which is where you take out your frustration on someone or something else. You're mad about the test that I gave you a bad grade on. You go home and your mom's like, how was school today? And you're like, leave me alone. I hate you, mom. Just back off. Like that's displacement. You're mad at your teacher, but you're yelling at your mom. So the activity is on Canvas. I'll put another video up with instructions and make sure that you have it done before Friday. And it is graded because I actually assigned it last week. So make sure that you do it and that you turn it in. I hope everybody's doing well and I'll talk to you later.